This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
That breaking news tonight, a woman is dead after a triple shooting on the west side of Indianapolis. Good evening, I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. Investigators say 2 men are wounded, 1 is in critical condition, and 1 is stable. All 3 people were found outside near St. Clair Street and Belmont Avenue around 8:30 tonight. The violence involved 2 vehicles. Police are trying to piece together exactly what happened. We will bring you updates as we learn more.
Well, a new year means new laws are going to affect across the country. And when the clock strikes midnight, Indiana will border 2 states where recreational marijuana is legal.
And as of January 1st, Illinois is legalizing pot, joining Michigan, where recreational marijuana sales began on December 1st. Activists and some politicians here in Indiana say this is another sign our state needs to catch up with its neighbors. New at 11, RTV6's Cornelius Hawker spoke with members of Indiana Normal, a nonprofit working to legalize marijuana here in the Hoosier State.
And Cornelius, lawmakers have already filed several pot-related issues going into the legislative session. But do they have hope for them, knowing that the governor might not be supporting that?
Well, as you know, Holcomb has already said that he's against legalizing marijuana until the federal government does so. So even if those bills do pass, nothing will change if the governor is against signing them into law. But this is why some continue to push for change. Indiana will be surrounded by states to the north, east, and west where marijuana is legal recreationally in 2 of them. And law enforcement, they've already said that they're going to be on the lookout for those who cross state lines to buy pot, setting up legal troubles for those who risk it and get caught. Now, Indiana Normal says that problem, along with other issues like drug testing at work, could easily be fixed by the folks at the State House.
Our laws, our drug testing laws, need to match up with, our current cannabis laws, whether it's fully legal recreationally or whether it's just the hemp and CBD.
Even if the state doesn't want to move on anything, we're going to try every route that we can, every little crack we're going to squeeze into. We're going to get cannabis recognized as something that needs to be taken care of here in the state of Indiana.
Now, some of the Senate bills already filed for this upcoming legislative session are on your screen. All of them would eliminate some issues that will be caused by the different laws between us and neighboring states. Senate Bill 86 lays out reasons that a person could legally have medical marijuana, bongs, pipes, and other things people would use to smoke it or grind it up. Senate Bill 103 specifically gives those with a terminal illness the right to have marijuana. And Senate Bill 114 would make it legal for a person to have THC in their system while driving if they currently aren't high. Now we're going to put the full text of those bills in this story on our app. And now Indiana Normal, because of the situation here, they're asking for people to reach out to their city councilors, county commissioners, mayors, to tell them that they want some type of change.
And we've already seen some change earlier this year on the local level, Cornelius.
Right, here in Marion County back in September, the prosecutor's office said that they were going to not be prosecuting any more simple marijuana possession cases because they said resources, it didn't really... It was a lack of resources, and they were trying to focus on violent crime, so it really wasn't something that they needed to enforce. However, police and deputies, all of them, they're going to continue following the state law.
You can still get arrested for it.
You can still get arrested for it, so be careful if you're going to do it.
That's right. Cornelius Hawker, bring us up to date on that. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now to a live look at Times Square. After some rain, it's turned into a pleasant night to wait for the ball to drop. What about outdoor celebrations here in central Indiana, Kevin?
New York City's at 42. We've been a little bit cooler, but dry, and will likely stay that way here for next little bit. Temperatures, they're the story of the evening. Not too bad for this time of year. We had a few flurries early in the day. We probably don't see any rain until Thursday. The wind is calming down. It's certainly not calm. Still west anywhere from 10 to almost 20 miles per hour. Temperature has been stuck all evening at 33. The wind chill temperatures, though, are in the 20s. Here's the change I think you'll like. For New Year's Day, sunshine returns to the picture. Temperatures climb close to the mid-40s. Not the warmest temperatures as we step into our first week of 2020. I'll share those coming up.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. A reminder now, there are free and discounted transportation options on this New Year's Eve. It is free to take Indigo buses system-wide through 2 a.m. and Lyft is offering free rides up to $10. You need to download a code to be eligible. You can find a link to that code and more information about the deal on the RTV6 app.
The death of a bystander in a crash caused by a man who led officers on a chase is raising questions about police procedures. Call 6 Investigates is working for you to get answers. 64-year-old Charles Alexander was killed when the suspect crashed near Pendleton and Oak Landon. Authorities are investigating to see if pursuit protocols were followed. Newly appointed Assistant Police Chief Chris Bailey calls the department's current pursuit policy liberal.
Under the current policy, you can chase for traffic infractions, misdemeanors, felonies. We'll take a look at it like we do all major and critical incidents within the agency and see what we can do better to see if we did something we shouldn't have, and then make those corrections as we move forward.
About a month ago, now retired IMPD Chief Brian Roach updated the policy, making it more restrictive when officers are allowed to chase suspects. The department is in the process of training officers on the new policy. And a new IMPD chief is in place. Today, Mayor Joe Hogsett named Randall Taylor to the position. He has served as Assistant Chief of Investigations since 2016. You can read more about his background and his plans for the future of the city by clicking on this story in the RTV6 app.
An Indianapolis mother is calling for more transparency after police officers shot her son.
I decided to organize this because I want justice. I want answers.
19-year-old Isaiah Batiste is at Eskenazi Hospital after the shooting left him in critical condition. That's where friends and family held a rally tonight. IMPD says officers were investigating an attempted carjacking early Saturday morning when they saw Batiste and another person matching the suspect descriptions. Police say Batiste was carrying a rifle and refused to drop it, so they shot him. He faces preliminary charges of attempted robbery and carrying a handgun without a license. A second person, who is not being named at this time because he is not an adult, was not arrested.
There is a demand for answers after the death of a 6-month-old baby girl on the east side of Indianapolis. Darelia Hill died on Friday. Now, the coroner says she suffered multiple blunt force injuries and her death has been ruled a homicide. Christy Cundiff with the Indiana Foster and Adoptive Parents Resource and Advocacy Group says Darelia Hill was recently part of the child welfare system. Cundiff wrote emails to the Department of Child Services, state lawmakers, and the governor's office back in September, concerned about her going back to live with her parents in what she called an unsafe living environment. She says no one responded to her email and the baby was returned to her parents, and 3 months later, Darelia was dead.
The system is not working. We are failing children in our state. We are not doing 110% for these kids. And I appreciate the governor's goal to lower the infant mortality, and I know that he's working on that. But when we allow babies to go home to unsafe environments, we are putting them at risk.
No arrests have been made. The courts also play a vital role in placing children back in the home. However, Call 6 Investigates cannot get those records because a new law prevents the state from releasing records about a child death until the criminal case is finished. Call 6 reached out to the Department of Child Services, who provided the following statement, quote, "Unfortunately, Indiana confidentiality laws prohibit us from commenting on DCS involvement for or lack thereof with the family," end quote.
$500 is now being offered in the search for whoever killed a bald eagle in southern Indiana. Conservation officers found the eagle with a gunshot wound on December 20th in Lawrence County. The reward is on the table for information leading to an arrest of a suspect. Tips can be reported to the Department of Natural Resources. The number is 1-800-TIP-IDNR.
The new year will bring a new way to gamble in central Indiana. Starting tomorrow, live table dealers will be at 2 racetrack casinos. Indiana Grand Racing and Casino in Shelbyville and Harrah's Hoosier Park and Anderson have been preparing for live table gaming for months now. Lawmakers approved new legislation to allow the changes back in April. There will be more than 40 tables for blackjack, craps, and roulette at Hoosier Park.
We're able to bring this to Indianapolis, to Anderson, to Madison County. You know, it's a special thing. It's not just for the casino. It really is for those who come here and want to get away and enjoy themselves.
We told you back in October this change is creating hundreds of jobs. You can learn more about those opportunities by going to hiringhoosiers.com and clicking on this story. And the New Year's Eve party in Times Square is in full swing at this hour.
That's right. Let's check back in with Ryan Seacrest and Lucy Hale with what's still ahead on New Year's Rockin' Eve.
And good evening to you. It has been an incredible celebration so far here in Times Square. 1 million partiers ready for the big Ball 2 drop.
Yes, the clock is ticking down the minutes to 2020, and before we count down the seconds, we've got more great music on the way.
Yeah, before midnight, Post Malone is going to rock our stage. Then just after we ring in the new year, we'll head live to Miami for the Jonas Brothers.
Plus, more of the biggest hits of the year at our Hollywood party, and in New Orleans, we've got Usher.
That's right, and that is the news from here. We're going to throw it back to you in the studio. We'll see you in literally just a few right here on New Year's Rockin' Eve. Back to you.
Thank you, Ryan and Lucy. The Times Square Ball is not the only thing dropping tonight. A little later, see some of the unusual symbols that will help people around the country ring in the new year.
And next, a story that may make you think twice when you see something that looks suspicious on a home surveillance camera.
Stay only at Ashley Home Store. This is home. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
A trip to Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl took a terrible turn for a college student who was carjacked, kidnapped, and shot. ABC's Romina Puga reports the student's search for help played out on a Ring doorbell camera.
Hey, I've been shot. I've been shot.
An alarming wake-up call for this homeowner when a young man rang his doorbell begging for help, all of it captured on a Ring camera.
Just call 911. I've been shot, swear to God.
College football fan Anthony was in Phoenix over the weekend for the Fiesta Bowl showdown between his Ohio State team and Clemson when things took a terrible turn. He was sleeping in his car when 3 teenagers allegedly held him up at gunpoint, pushed him in the back seat, and drove him around for more than an hour, making withdrawals at various ATMs before dropping off Anthony in an empty lot and shooting at him.
Gunshots, it sounded like 5 or 6 of them.
Anthony made a run for it, ringing doorbells, desperate for help, until he reached Jerry's house, a Phoenix area firefighter who was just waking up.
It's Anthony. I've been shot. Call 911. Just call 911. I've been shot, swear to God. Okay.
I took a very pessimistic approach.
Jerry, though skeptical, immediately called 911. 3 suspects have been arrested, 2 of them minors. According to police, 18-year-old Roderick Smith, already a convicted felon, admitted to taking out $300 to $600 from ATMs.
While Anthony recovers, homeowner Jerry says he's relieved that he took the young man's plea seriously. Romina Puga, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Dispatchers will answer thousands of calls this New Year's Eve, including many that are not emergencies. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help to keep those lines clear for true life or death situations. You are asked not to call 911 to report illegal fireworks or loud parties. For those issues, you can call the non-emergency line at 317-327-3811. And people in other parts of the world are already enjoying the new decade. Here's the New Year's Eve party in Dubai. Crowds gathered along the waterfront of the Dubai fountain to ring in 2020. Now, Kevin, we're getting ready to celebrate New Year's right here in downtown Indianapolis. What is
you mean right here in Studio A?
Actually, yes, you are completely right. We are actually going to be doing that.
Yeah, Brad and I will be working on the confetti here in just a little bit. We'll bring that down at the end of sports. Okay, I don't know where I'm walking to right now. I'm kind of lost.
I'll tell you where to stop. Hey, right there.
I started 2019 wandering and I end it wandering. How about that? 33 degrees. Did I just cut right through there too? 33 was our current temperature and it hasn't changed much all evening long. As we get to midnight, temperature may be a degree cooler. We've got the cloud cover across central Indiana. That's keeping the temperature from falling off too much. The big change tomorrow, add some sunshine and we get a little warmth. Temperatures will warm back into the 40s, 45 or so for the high. Warmest temperature, though, will come in on Friday. But Thursday and Friday, as the temperature comes up, so will our rain chances. Should be another widespread soaking rain for portions of central Indiana. Lots of sunshine, 39 at noon tomorrow. Temperature hits the mid-40s. The wind will pick up once again. It won't be as strong as it has been, but still noticeable, gusting over 20 miles per hour through the afternoon out of the southwest. That'll grab some of the warmer air and push it back into the state. Thursday and Friday, we'll wait a long time Thursday for the rain to start. I think it starts in southern Indiana first, 7 a.m. were dry. The showers south of Interstate 70 through the first part of the day. It's really Thursday night that we begin to see the widespread rain throughout all of central Indiana. Temperature at 50 degrees or warmer as the rain first arrives. As far as rainfall potential, ½ an inch to about an inch of rain. Just to show you, I think it'll be most of the state that sees that rain. Cold enough as we get to Saturday that we have snow showers and 37 degrees. Here's your forecast. Temperatures early next week as we roll into 2020 for 7-day forecast of the new year. Chance for snow showers Saturday. Sunday is dry. Monday is dry. And Tuesday likely dry as well with highs right around 40.
I like when you do laps around the studio.
Keeps me in shape.
Right. Get those
Great final forecast of the year, Kevin.
Counting down 20 till 2020 here.
Brad Brown is here.
I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Right,
let's get on
the mark, right?
I wore a bow tie. Come on.
Brad's always ready to go.
Happy New Year, everybody. Good evening. This is the 8th time in the last 10 years the Pacers were home on New Year's Eve. The best part, they were done before it was even midnight in London. They're already off to the party. Made sure to put this one out of reach early as well. 2-point advantage after the first quarter game against the Sixers. Second quarter was their best of the season, perhaps. Domantas Sabonis, the big slam. They even got Victor Oladipo off the bench. Everybody excited. Domas led the scoring with 23 points today. That sparked a huge second quarter. TJ Warren leading the way, hit all 9 shots he took in the first half. 38-16 was the margin in the quarter. Pacers led by as many as 35 this afternoon, was never really in doubt. There it goes, all the way down. Warren for a couple more, and it was this kind of day. Jeremy Lamb with this easy steal coming up. We'll put a 3 in at the other end. 7 in double figures. 115-97 wasn't really that close. Joel Embiid didn't play for Philly, but the Pacers owned the game accordingly.
It's confidence, hitting shots, that helps obviously, and then once you get hot, sometimes it's contagious. You know, guys just the confidence kind of just flows through the group, and individually, I think guys play well.
We had a good day yesterday as a team. You know, we came in, we got some work in. I feel like we got better. Malcolm was back in the lineup, you know, so it helped everyone get organized, and I think today showed.
Pacers open the new year at home. Thursday night, the Nuggets are here. Play at Atlanta and Charlotte over the weekend. Big rematch with Miami is a week from tonight. And the Sixers, again, just 13 days away. The Pacers have only 5 home games the entire month of January. They'll play 9 on the road. Butler opens conference play tonight. A 12-1 record coming in. The best pre-league mark in the Big East. Not bad for a team that was picked 8th in the preseason poll. This was a wild one at St. John's, not too far from the Times Square New Year's Eve party. A big run in the first half had the Bulldogs up, a 22-3 advantage. Sean McDermott got it started. Kamar Baldwin knocked down a couple as well. Butler, big lead at the half, but the Johnnies came all the way back. A 19-0 run in the second half. They would lead by 5. But BU had a run left in the final minute. Christian David with the triple would be the game winner, 60-58. Butler 13-1 now. They'll be home Saturday to take on Creighton. Time for us to take another break. More of the news at 11 next.
Silvers. Fish, yeah.
An early New Year's Eve celebration in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Kids counted down as a 400-pound peep descended over the city. Bethlehem is home to the Marshmallow Peeps treats, by the way. Of course, everyone knows the ball drop in Times Square. That peep event is one of several lesser-known drops around the country.
And here are some others. In Plymouth, Wisconsin, a wedge of cheese drops on New Year's Eve. The area claims to be the cheese capital of the world.
In Yuma, Arizona, they drop a head of iceberg lettuce. Yep, that community produces about 93% of the country's winter leafy vegetables.
And get this, and in Eastover, North Carolina, they drop a 30-pound flea statue. Well, this tradition is in honor of the town's old nickname, Flea Hill. Interesting.
Drop that flea.
We'll be right back.
We only have 12 seconds. Should we just count down to the end? That's it. Under 7.
Everyone has to get the last word of 2019.
5. Kevin, where are we doing sports this time?
Happy New Year.